Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming. I think the message of today's press conference is a simple one, and that is don't steal other people's property. Perhaps more specifically, if you do, and you enter Suffolk County as part of a organized retail theft ring, and you endanger people in the process, you are going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office and our law enforcement partners. And with regard to our law enforcement partners, in this case, I would specifically like to thank the East Hampton Village Police Department, the New York State Police, and as always, the Suffolk County Police Department for their timely assistance, their outstanding work, and their apprehension of 4 of the 5 co-conspirators in this case. And today we're pleased to be joined by the New York State Police, led by Major George Mall and his team, as well as Lieutenants Brown and Erickson from the East Hampton Village Police Department. And again, gentlemen, thank you very much for your outstanding work. I think the facts of this case are fairly simple. On March 3rd of this year, the co-conspirators, Jamel Jones, Basima Davis, Wasia Rogers, Ali Harris, and an unindicted co-conspirator allegedly entered the Balenciaga store in East Hampton Village. The first individual to enter was the was the unapprehended female. When she went into the store, she asked about a pair of shoes, and when the clerk went to get those shoes, the 4 co-conspirators rushed in, and as you're about to see, rushed in and basically took all of the Balenciaga bags off of the shelves. 48 bags in total, worth about $94,000. The co-conspirators, the 5 co-conspirators, then fled to the parking lot where they got into a black Durango vehicle with Connecticut license plates, and they fled the scene. The East Hampton Police Department was on it. A patrol vehicle attempted to pull the vehicle over. A vehicle and traffic pursuit ensued. During that pursuit, the Durango traveled at speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. They were swerving into the oncoming lanes of traffic in an attempt to get away, and the East Hampton Village Police Department terminated the pursuit at that time because of the clear danger to the public. However, they did broadcast a notification, and that was picked up by the state police. And this is a really great example of how our law enforcement partners work in collaboration with one another. The notification goes off, and there is a state trooper in West Hampton Beach. He identifies the black Durango traveling on the Sunrise Highway in West Hampton Beach. He initiates a pursuit, attempts to pull the vehicle over, but once again, the Durango flees at a high rate of speed, this time going over 100 miles an hour, and that state trooper, he disengages the pursuit but follows at a safe distance. The Durango goes from the Sunrise Highway to the LIE in the vicinity of Wading River, where the car gets disabled. At that point, the state trooper begins a foot pursuit to try to apprehend the individuals. They're assisted in that endeavor by the Suffolk County Police Department, the 7th Precinct Patrol, Aviation, and K-9 unit fan out and apprehend 4 out of the 5 individuals. Also, 36 of the 48 bags were recovered. 34 bags were recovered from the scene of the or the adjoining scene of the arrest. And those bags were worth about $69,000. Today in court, the 4 defendants were arraigned. Ali Harris was released. Because of the bail laws, we were unable to seek bail in that case. However, Basima Davis and Jamel Johns were held on $75,000 cash bail, and there was a a warrant issued for Wazir Rogers, who did not appear. So that is the case in a nutshell. What we'd like to do is just show you the video of the actual theft of the bags. So that's if you saw from the video, the unapprehended co-conspirator in pink. She was the first one to enter the store, and the four co-conspirators entered thereafter. Our investigation in this case is continuing. We believe, as I stated, that this is a part of an organized retail theft ring that is responsible for crimes both here in Suffolk County as well as outside the jurisdiction. And as I said before, we are not going to tolerate it. If you engage in this activity and you endanger the public, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law in Suffolk County. Does anyone have any questions?
Ray, what were they planning to do with this, or what with all these retail thefts? Do they put them online? Do they sell them overseas? What goes on?
Well, I mean, as I said, the investigation in this case is continuing, but typically what happens with regard to cases such as this is that there is a secondary market, and that secondary market is usually, already in place prior to the theft.
But is it?
What was the nature? What was the name? What were they charged with?
They were charged with counts of grand larceny in the second degree and criminal possession of the second degree for the stealing of the bags, as well as the possession of the bags upon apprehension. There was also a quantity of pressed methamphetamine found within the vehicle, and they were charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the seventh degree with regard to those drugs.
You mentioned the car was disabled. Did state police disable the car?
No, I think it was just from the high speeds. It's just the car malfunctioned and they had to bail.
You said that these bags likely had purchasers already, or there was a
well,
place
what I said typically is with regard to such rings that they have the secondary market and the means by which to sell them on the secondary market.
And these secondary markets, I mean, are they places where, like, people could unknowingly go and buy them and not know that they were stolen?
Perhaps, yes.
Okay.
Typically on the internet.
Jamel Johns was already in custody. Why is that?
Jamel Johns, because he was in custody because he's a three-time felony offender. So under our law, that makes him persistent felony eligible, which under the bail laws, we're able to seek bail on him. So he was kept because of his criminal history, and as that applies to our bail reform laws. As I said, Ali Harris was released because we can't seek bail on Mr. Harris.
Is that frustrating for you? I mean, the judge made a point when he said to him today, I cannot keep you because of the legislation, so you get to go.
I think it's frustrating because once it takes the discretion out of the hands of the professionals, the litigants and the judge, in this case in particular, 49 out of 50 states you're allowed to consider dangerousness when seeking bail. You're able to do that in the federal system as well. So in this case, where there was a clear threat to public safety as a result of the fleeing from the scene, countless members of the public were endangered. We can't ask bail, so that certainly is frustrating.
Is that something? I'm sorry. Is that something that you would like to see change? That you'd like to see the legislature take on?
Absolutely. I think probably the most important factor in a bail application is the individual's dangerousness.
Of the four, what's the criminal records for the four defendants?
With regard to, as I said, with regard to Jamel Johns, he has 3 prior felony convictions.
I'm sorry, what are the nature of those?
He has a burglary in the 3rd degree, he has bail jumping, and he has grand larceny in the 4th degree, all of which are felony convictions. Wazir Rogers has misdemeanor convictions, which was reduced from a grand larceny. I believe that was in Manhattan, and it appears to be conduct that was similar to this. Mr. Rogers also has a criminal history in New Jersey, which we're tracking down. The other defendant, Basima Davis, she also has a misdemeanor conviction for petty larceny. She has a bench warrant open in Manhattan with regard to other petty larcenies, which seem to be similar incidents to this, and she has pending charges in New Jersey as well. And then I think that's it.
And Mr. Rogers, you believe lives in Newark as well?
And so Harris is criminal, no criminal record?
Ali Harris, I'm not sure of Ali Harris's record. Perhaps what the assistant could help me? Sure. Okay. So that individual does not have any adult criminal convictions, and he does seem to have a criminal history in New Jersey. Which
And you said that Davis and John were held on bail. Is that Davis because she had the outstanding warrants in New Jersey?
No, both Basima Davis and Johns were held based upon being under a sentence of probation while committing this crime, and under the tweaking of our bail reform laws, we're able to seek bail in those instances.
Talk about the big picture here, because somebody, they weren't caught, they could have put this online, somebody from Idaho could have bought one of these bags and they're obviously stolen. This is like, it could go across the whole entire country just by one theft. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger picture is, when I assumed office, I'm seeing, an explosion in a number of crimes, including this organized retail theft type of rings going in and committing these type of crimes. And it's happening, in East Hampton. It's also happening, in Brentwood and Huntington on the western side of Suffolk County, and all parts in between. As we see in this case, it endangers the public, but with regard to the massive amount of retail theft that's going on, stores are closing, and ultimately the loss of that revenue gets transferred to the consumers. So, at the end of the day, we all pay. And in Suffolk County, we're not going to stand for it.
I'm curious, has the investigation touched on the reasoning? I mean, they drove from Newark, we understand that, but the reasoning from driving from Newark to East Hampton, which is quite a drive, in fact, leads you on a 2-lane road out. What were they thinking, if anything?
Well, I mean, I can't get inside the alleged co-conspirators' heads, and fortunately I don't need to. I just need to prove what they did. But I will say, with regard to these rings, what we're saying is they're going to certain areas. Certainly, Balenciaga, it's a high-end store. These are highly expensive, highly sought after items. But what we're saying with the rings is they will go, to locations where they think are soft targets, and the merchandise they take, they can get revenue from it on the secondary market.
I want to
Yeah,
make sure
one
I'm
more
clear.
question.
I want to make sure I'm clear. You said they took 48 handbags from the store. Prosecutors in court said they were found with 34.
Yeah, so 48 handbags were taken from the store.
Yep.
And then 2 handbags were found in the parking lot. And then when they bailed, all but 2 or 3 of those handbags were removed from the car. And as the officers apprehended the various 4 subjects, they also found bags strewn about in the area of the bailout, to 34 bags. So 34 bags were found in and around the arrest site. 2 bags were recovered from the parking lot of the Balenciaga store, but in total, 48 bags were
So does that mean the unidentified co-conspirator has likely had the possession of the other bags?
possibly, or they're secreted somewhere, in the vicinity of the arrest scene, and they just haven't been found yet.
And there was only one employee in the store?
Final question.
There was only one?
Sorry.
employee in the store when they came in, and she or he was in the back, so they
There
didn't
was,
witness
there
it?
were two employees in the store. There's a down, there was a down stairs area where one of the employees were, and then there was a employee off to the back, and then when the individuals, rushed the store, the two salespersons, they retreated.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.